Hello, it's me. Thank you for joining me tonight. Um, I just got back from the gym and it's 9:09 p.m. on September 7th, 2020 here in Midvale, Utah. My name is Jarrett Casey. And yeah, today I worked this morning for lunch, so I was there from 10:30 to about 4:30. I had a really nice shift. Um, and then I came home and took a short nap, just about 20 minutes, where it was nice. I came home, I was totally exhausted. I thought I might just not even get anything done. But I took that 20-minute nap and I feel like I woke up a little rejuvenated. So it was good to have a little cat nap. And I decided to go to the gym. So I changed and went to the gym and I went and I did my arms today. It was my first time going to the gym in about a week, so I'm going to try and step that back up and go 4 more times this week. So I've decided I want to lose 5 more pounds. So, like I said, I've lost 14 in the last 8 weeks, and about 33 or 35 since December of 2017. So I feel good about that. It's funny that year when I went into rehab, I went to rehab in Palm Springs at a place called Michael's House. And when I checked into rehab, I think I weighed 152. And by the end of that year at Christmas, I weighed 215 pounds. So it was really hard for me. That's pretty common, I think, when you come out of certain addictions. Or really it really could be any addiction, just for certain people when they start to pick up a lot more food, and they can gain a lot of weight. And then for me as well, they had prescribed me a medication called Zyprexa, which is olanzapine, which is for people who hear voices, and that also can cause you to gain weight. So, and I was working at a restaurant when I got out of rehab, so that probably didn't help either. But yeah, I gained that I guess over 60 pounds. So it feels good to have lost over 30 of them. And I want to just lose 5 more, and still try and improve my appearance while not. I mean, I know it's not required or anything. It's, I'm very blessed and grateful to even have a body. I think bodies are a gift with which we can come here and facilitate learning and save time and spiritual growth and share the love and light that we are. So I'm very grateful to have a body and very able-bodied. But I would like to lose another 5 pounds. So that's going to be my goal for the month of September. And I'm going to try and go to the gym more often. And that's that. So anyways, and then I just got home from there. So I thought I'll do this a little early tonight so I can go to bed and and enjoy my dream state. So today, in my head, I struggled today after work, especially with not getting upset about what I perceive to be going on in the world. I feel very isolated, and I feel like people are not speaking to me honestly or clearly. I think there is truth in what a lot of people in my life tell me, what they are able to tell me, which is, we love you, and we care for you. It's just the details of their words. So the message is there. And so I see that and I honor that. And so thank you. It's just hard for people not to be able to be direct and really truly honest about how they feel, about what's going on. I just this is hard to say because it might just sound like a crazy person, which I am crazy, but I'm not. I'm not like bad crazy. I'm just kind of crazy, and that's cool. This is a crazy world, so we're crazy while we're here. And I just feel like people may have had their freedom of choice or decision or speech taken from them. And it's disheartening because I see it being right along with all of the other injustices and denials of freedom and stuff that we are witnessing going on in the country with people having their lives taken from them before seeing a trial. People like Breonna Taylor, who was just murdered in her sleep. People who aren't free to feel safe in who they are. We're told they need to be someone else. And it's difficult. And I think more and more people are feeling isolated and angry, alone, hurt. That's what I'm getting. A lot of people feel hurt. And it's just such an important time for us to meet that pain and those feelings of loneliness with light and love and care and honesty and comfort. And so I get frustrated when I don't see that happening with our leaders. And so that's what was happening with me today when I was at the gym. I kept fighting this battle in my mind with people over what's happening. And someone stepped in and said, they kind of had a little intervention with me. And they were like, Jarrett, how would you apply Christ's teachings in this moment and how you feel? And that enabled me to stop myself, which I had kept trying to do. I kept trying to stop myself and I couldn't do it. I would stop myself and then I'd go right back into it. Stop myself and go right back into it. And so when she asked me that, I stopped and I thought, okay, well, and this isn't going to be verbatim, but this is the spirit of what my answer was. He would have me remember and remind everyone that I'm here to be truly loving and truly helpful, and that I love each and every one of them, and that even my frustration comes from a place of caring very much, but that we're here to share the light and share the love. And I can't control what anyone else does. I have to allow them their choices and their decisions. Although I am trying to remain vigilant in fighting for their freedoms and reminding everyone that they are truly free, and not to let the lies or manipulations or fear tactics or even just fears of other people or even their own chain them to silence or to darkness. Instead, just to be the true and perfect people that they are, because I see them all as perfect children of God, which is exactly how I see myself. And stand up for their freedoms and go to one another and join hands as we join hearts and join our minds to show the world what it really means to be free and to walk as Christ does, or as he would have us walk, and extend our hands to one another on this earth. All the while saying, and for the moment you find yourself in, which is a difficult one, we all find ourselves in this moment, that you're still perfect as you try and figure this out, and as we try and come together, whatever roadblocks may be in our way. And it's not your fault. And that I'm very grateful for your presence here, and for your love and support, and for the safety that we all enjoy. So to freely live our lives, although all of our freedoms may not be in their fullness. And that's what we're fighting for, not just for ourselves, but for everyone here. They may seem diminished, but we're here to breathe life and depth and fullness into all of those principles. So, like I said, that's you had to have been there in my mind, I guess, to get the exact thing. But that's kind of where I was going with that. And so it enabled me to stop and communicate that. And I tried to take a few deep breaths, and it helped. And I feel much better now. And then as I was walking home, there's this light in the sky. There's two of them in the southern sky. And they've both been there for several nights, I've noticed, over a week. And one of them is so bright, and it's right there, but it kind of just moves just ever so little, and it has like an aura around it. And I kept thinking, is that someone? Is there someone up there? Every night when I'd see it, I'd stop and look and wait and kind of watch it move just the tiniest bit. I'd wave at it. And so tonight, just moments ago, I was doing just that. I stopped and I was looking, and I waved, and it started to go lighter, smaller, and then it just disappeared. The other one's still there, but it went away. It was really cool to witness. So I don't know what it was. It reminds me, in March, I was in Lehi walking around, and there was a beautiful golden something floating above me. And it reminded me of that. So it made me feel very comforted. So it's good to know we're never alone, and that there really are beings of true light, pure golden light, that are looking over us. And we carry that within us too. We can be just like that. So today, we have, so this is chapter 3, the innocent perception, section 3, perception versus knowledge. We have been emphasizing perception and have said very little about knowledge as yet. This is because perception must be straightened out before you can know anything. To know is to be certain. Uncertainty means that you do not know. Knowledge is power because it is certain, and certainty is strength. Perception is temporary, an attribute of the belief in space and time. It is subject to either fear or love. Misperceptions produce fear, and true perceptions foster love. But neither brings certainty because all perception varies. That is why it is not knowledge. True perception is the basis of knowledge, is the basis for knowledge, I apologize. But knowing is the affirmation of truth and beyond all perceptions. All your difficulties stem from the fact that you do not recognize yourself, your brother, or God. To recognize means to know again, to recognize. So it's like the word conocer in Spanish, which is to come to know. So to recognize is to like remember or to know again, as Jesus says here, implying that you knew before. You can see in many ways because perception involves interpretation, and this means that it is not whole or consistent. The miracle, being a way of perceiving, is not knowledge. It is the right answer to a question, but you do not question when you know. Questioning illusions is the first step in undoing them. The miracle, or the right answer, corrects them. Since perceptions change, their dependence on time is obvious. How you perceive at any given time determines what you do, and actions must occur in time. Knowledge is timeless, because certainty is not questionable. You know when you have ceased to ask questions. The questioning mind perceives itself in time, and therefore looks for future answers. The closed mind believes the future and the present will be the same. This establishes a seemingly stable state that is usually an attempt to counteract an underlying fear that the future will be worse than the present. This fear inhibits the tendency to question at all. So this is saying if your mind is closed, you might have a propensity to assume that the way things currently are, the present, is how the future will always be, or should be. And this is because of an underlying fear that future will be worse than the present. So you just want it always to be like this, because if it's not like this, it'll be worse. And you can't really handle that. And so you want it to be like this. And so you close off your mind. Now the questioning mind starts to question our existence, not the entirety of our existence, but it just starts to question things. And when you question, you receive answers. And answers come in the form of miracles, which save us time, they reduce suffering, and if we allow them, they bring us closer to the true future, which is never worse than the present. It's always better. And we just have to release our fear that the future will be worse than the present, and open our minds to receive the miracle and to receive the answers which come in the form of miracles. To allow Heavenly Father to determine our future, although we're doing it right there with Him. And it's always for our best, because that's how miracles work. And so it's okay to question until you know. And knowing means, like they said, that there literally is Knowing comes from outside of time, although so do miracles. Well, the love that fuels the miracles comes from outside of time, although we do carry it with us here in time, thank God. So it's good to recognize who we are and who each other are, and to recognize God within ourselves and throughout the world, because that comes from a place of knowing, and that recognition is timeless. And when we recognize each other as perfect children of God, it's easier to allow the miracles, the answers for all the questions that we've been asking about our existence here to really flow through our lives, I think. Therefore, I am. The questioning, oh yes, we said this. True vision is the natural perception of spiritual sight. But it is still a correction rather than a fact. Spiritual sight is symbolic and therefore not a device for knowing. It is, however, a means of right perception, which brings it into the proper domain of the miracle. A, quote, vision of God would be a miracle rather than a revelation. The fact that perception is involved at all removes the experience from the realm of knowledge. The fact that perception is involved at all removes the experience from the realm of knowledge. Oh, correct. Okay. So this is talking about revelation isn't a vision, it's an experience. So when you're experiencing revelation, this entire universe is gone and you're literally lifted into eternity and you're in the presence of Heavenly Father. And you're just there with him, and you literally are complete. It's all of this is completely transcended for however much time, because it's not in time, you're in eternity. So here it may seem to take a certain amount of time, but your experience is something different entirely until your awareness is brought back here. So a vision of God isn't a revelation, but instead a miracle. So it's still a miracle, which is all the yeses. We're here to experience miracles, to facilitate miracles, and to be miracle-minded. So having a vision of God is an amazing thing. The fact that perception is involved at all removes the experience from the realm of knowledge. That is why visions, however holy, do not last. The Bible tells you to know yourself or to be certain. Certainty is always of God. When you love someone, you have perceived him as he is, and this makes it possible for you to know him. Until you first perceive him as he is, you cannot know him. While you ask questions about him, you are clearly implying that you do not know God. Certainty does not require action. When you say you are acting on the basis of knowledge, you are really confusing knowledge with perception. Knowledge provides the strength for creative thinking, but not for right doing. Perception, miracles, and doing are closely related. Knowledge is the result of revelation and induces only thought. Even in its most spiritualized form, perception involves the body. Knowledge comes from the altar within and is timeless because it is certain. To perceive the truth is not the same as to know it. Right perception is necessary before God can communicate directly to his altars, which he established in his sons. There he can communicate his certainty, and his knowledge will bring peace without question. God is not a stranger to his sons, and his sons are not strangers to each other. Knowledge preceded both perception and time, and will ultimately replace them. That is the real meaning of Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. And before Abraham was I am. Perception can and must be stabilized, but knowledge is stable. Fear God and keep his commandments becomes know God and accept his certainty. If you attack error in another, you will hurt yourself. You cannot know your brother when you attack him. Attack is always made upon a stranger. You are making him a stranger by misperceiving him, and so you cannot know him. It is because you have made him a stranger that you are afraid of him. Perceive him correctly so that you can know him. There are no strangers in God's creation. To create as he created you can create only what you know, and therefore accept as yours. God knows his children with perfect certainty. He created them by knowing them. He recognizes them perfectly. When they do not recognize each other, they do not recognize him. So none of us are strangers, which is awesome. I wrote a poem once, and it had a hashtag, a stranger in a familiar moment. And I think I'm going to find it and read it to you now. I was flying from Los Angeles to Phoenix. And I was on the plane toward the front on the left side. And over to the right was a Black woman with her son. And I just sat and watched them. And they really touched me. And so I wrote this poem. So it's called Flying. And the picture I took was looking out over the wing. This was right after we had taken off, although I wasn't able to post it until we arrived in Phoenix. So I did tag it as Phoenix Sky Harbor. But there's a boat and some clouds below, and you can see the beach, but we're clearly above the ocean. He gasps, "I see blue." Ivory teeth gleam amongst his infectious ebony smile. His mother giggles upon hearing her son experience the way his stomach is suddenly suspended in space while taking off for the very first time. Excitedly, he points toward a seemingly tiny barge, painted black and orange. "The ocean," he laughs. She laughs. They smile, and so do I. His voice takes on a curious tone. "The fog?" he asks. "No." She gently corrects him. "The clouds. We can fly above them." I ponder these words for what seems like a lifetime. What a beauty it is to witness one of his life's many firsts, which is also a first for me. A stranger in a familiar moment. And so I didn't know them at all, but I felt like I was right there with them, like they were me, and that they had opened that experience and invited me in. And it was such a beautiful thing to witness. And I just am very grateful to know that we are not strangers, none of us. We're all so loved. by our Creator. And if we can come to that understanding, both for ourselves and for one another, we can start to know Him truly and start seeing each other more clearly. And that is the beginning and the end, but mostly a beginning. So, anyways, that's that. So we should know this when we see one another. And it's what I'm trying to do right now. I feel like it's much easier when I see people in person. When they're all in my head, I can get really caught up in my confusion surrounding all of the denial that seems to be in this world. But I know that the truth is right here with us, and it's there for us to see if we are just willing to see it and we keep practicing. And we can see that truth in one another, and in choosing to do so, I think immediately can bring peace to our world. Although some might argue that in absence of everyone making that choice, they still need to take up their arms. So I think it's so important that more and more of us choose to see truly together, while also, of course, allowing and honoring people to be wherever they're at, and still encouraging them and inviting them to join us. Although they may have an arm in one arm and a hand extended or joined with another and another, at some point they might choose to put that down and join with someone else, knowing that it's right there if they need it. It's just not what we need to always be holding in defense. There's one other thing that I read earlier in the year that this reminds me of that I'm going to read. Oh, there's Juneteenth. I'm just going through my wall. Sorry, I'll let you go here in a moment. Thank you for being patient. Oh, it's beautiful. I like going through my Facebook every once in a while. Another thing I've been doing lately is I check my memories every day. And it's nice to see what I had been doing through the years. And sometimes some of my posts seem very relevant to what I'm going through today. And I'm like, wow, it's like 10 years ago on this same day, I was going through something that is still relevant to what I'm going through on this same day today. Oops. Wow, I posted so much this year. I guess we could talk about these things. We're almost there. So this is from A Course in Miracles, and it says, "Let no defenses but your present trust direct the future. And this life becomes a meaningful encounter with the truth that only your defenses would conceal. right? So let no defenses but your present trust direct the future. And this life becomes a meaningful encounter with the truth that only your defenses would conceal. So as we join each other in truth and love, right? Um, Truth and love direct the future, which is a meaningful encounter with the truth and with life. Um, that our defenses conceal. And we're all thirsting for meaningful encounters and a future that is full of life and truth and love. So I shared that and I wrote, let's trust the present moment so that we may direct the future rather than conceal the present and unknowingly invite the future to direct us. So sometimes it's difficult to accept some things that are happening, uh, and we can start to get fearful and pick up our defenses or double down in our denials or what have you. And then when we do that, when we neglect our present trust and choose our defenses, which are attacks, um, we we're concealing uh, we're concealing truth, we're concealing life, we're concealing meaningful encounters with each other, with ourselves, with God. And at some point in the future, because this is an inevitability that we finally get it right. Um, when we neglect to choose that future and bring it closer to us, um, we get lost in in our defenses and our attacks and our denials and our blindness, and the future starts to uh, have to start to pull us toward it, because we're starting to stray again. So when we neglect the present moment and all of the opportunities that lay before us to embrace truth and life, um, we let go of our power, um, and we give it to the kingdom, and they start directing us. And I don't mean like they come and just take things over, but uh, at any moment we're free to lay down our defenses and just trust what's happening and allow it, not only allow it, but really be who we are through it. And we get to not only accept their help, which is always coming from love because it comes from the kingdom of heaven, but also have a more active role in creating what that path looks like as we move closer and closer home. Um, so I invite everyone to examine what defenses or attacks they might be holding on to today as we go through life, and seeing how they might be willing to set them down for a little while and just allow the Spirit in, allow Christ to shine through you, allow one another to really act in truth and in love. And if that seems scary, to just face that fear that comes up surrounding allowing people to be the Christ they want to see in the world. um, examine it and forgive it and let it go. And if it keeps coming back, just keep doing that. But allow yourself some faith in the beauty that is life and that is love and that is trust. And find it in yourself in that process. And I think that's what we're all here doing. Some of us seem to be a little further along than others. We're all doing it together. And I'm so excited to join hands with some of you. So thank you. I'm very blessed to be here. And I hope you have a wonderful night. Take care. Thank you.